You know the old saying, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy you a solid gold yacht equipped with a smaller yacht that dispenses caviar and shame. We laugh, but there's a reason these stereotypes stick around. Why is it that wealthy people are so often painted as, well, kind of awful? In this video, we're diving deep into the murky waters of wealth perception. We'll explore why the gap between the haves and the have-nots can feel more like a chasm of misunderstanding and resentment. Buckle up, because we're about to unpack some uncomfortable truths about money, power, and the people who have too much of both. Let's not sugarcoat it. The image of a wealthy person draped in designer clothes, complaining that their private jet Wi-Fi is spotty, is practically a cliche at this point. It's an image that has been perpetuated in movies, TV shows, and even social media, making it a common stereotype. But where does this perception of arrogance and entitlement come from? Is it something that is inherently tied to having wealth, or is it a behavior that is learned over time, influenced by one's environment and social circles? Is it inherent to having wealth, or is it a learned behavior? Some believe that the accumulation of wealth can lead to a sense of superiority, while others argue that it is the societal expectations and pressures that shape such attitudes. Some argue that immense privilege can breed a sense of detachment from the everyday struggles of average people. When you are constantly surrounded by luxury and comfort, it can be easy to forget the challenges faced by those who are less fortunate. When your biggest concern is which vintage Bordeaux to pair with your truffle risotto, it's easy to see how someone might lose touch. The daily grind, the financial worries, and the simple pleasures of life can seem distant and irrelevant. This detachment can manifest as a sense of entitlement, a belief that the rules simply don't apply in the same way. It's not just about having money, it's about the mindset that comes with it. Suddenly, cutting lines, demanding special treatment, and flaunting wealth becomes the norm. These actions are not just seen as privileges, but as rights, further alienating the wealthy from the rest of society. And let's be honest, seeing someone throw a tantrum because their $2,000 handbag got a scratch on it doesn't exactly scream down to earth. It's moments like these that reinforce the negative stereotypes associated with wealth. This behavior, whether it's a conscious choice or an unconscious byproduct of privilege, fuels the stereotype of the out-of-touch entitled jerk. It creates a divide, making it harder for genuine connections to form between different social classes. And the worst part? This behavior reflects poorly on everyone with wealth, even those who are genuinely kind, generous, and grounded. It casts a shadow over the good deeds and positive contributions made by many wealthy individuals. It's like judging all dogs based on the behavior of a Chihuahua with a Napoleon complex. Just because a few exhibit negative traits doesn't mean the entire group should be painted with the same brush. We must remember to look beyond the stereotypes and see individuals for who they truly are. Imagine for a moment that your social circle consists entirely of multimillionaires. Your conversations revolve around investment portfolios, vacation homes, and the merits of different private jet caterers. Now, imagine trying to relate to someone struggling to pay rent, put food on the table, or afford health care. That's the reality of social disconnect that often accompanies extreme wealth. It's not necessarily about malicious intent. It's about living in entirely different realities. When your daily concerns are worlds apart, finding common ground can feel impossible. This disconnect can lead to a lack of empathy and understanding. It's hard to grasp the struggles of the average person when you've never had to worry about paying bills or putting food on the table. This lack of understanding can breed resentment and distrust from those on the outside looking in. It's easy to see how someone struggling to make ends meet might view the wealthy as out of touch and indifferent to their struggles. Chapter 3. The money talks, very loudly, in politics. Let's be honest, folks. The line between democracy and an oligarchy can get blurry when you factor in the immense influence of wealth in politics. The power of money in our political system is undeniable and often overwhelming. We like to think that every vote counts equally, but the reality is that money talks, and it often speaks in a booming baritone voice that drowns out the concerns of everyday citizens. The louder the money, the quieter the voice of the average voter. From campaign contributions to lobbying efforts, wealthy individuals and corporations wield significant power in shaping legislation and influencing policy decisions. Their financial clout can steer the direction of entire political agendas. This influence can have a profound impact on everything from healthcare and education to environmental regulations and economic policies. The policies that affect our daily lives are often crafted in rooms where money has the loudest voice. When the ultra-wealthy have the ear of lawmakers, it's no surprise that policies often seem skewed in their favor. The interests of the few can overshadow the needs of the many. Tax breaks for the rich while social programs for the poor face cuts? Sounds about right. This disparity highlights the imbalance in our political system. This creates a vicious cycle where wealth inequality is perpetuated through a system that favors those who already hold the most power and influence. The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. It's enough to make you wonder who's really in charge here. Is it the elected officials or the wealthy backers pulling the strings from behind the scenes? Chapter 4. Lifestyles of the rich and really obnoxious. From reality TV shows to blockbuster movies, the media often portrays wealthy people in one of two ways. Either they're morally bankrupt villains with more money than sense, or they're impossibly glamorous socialites, dripping in diamonds and dripping with ennui. Neither portrayal is particularly flattering. The villainous tycoon trope reinforces the idea that wealth corrupts, while the vapid socialite stereotype paints a picture of shallowness and detachment from reality. These portrayals, while often exaggerated for entertainment value, contribute to the negative perception of wealthy individuals. It's hard to shake the feeling that behind every fortune lies a sinister secret or a complete lack of substance. Of course, the reality is far more nuanced. Just like any other demographic, wealthy people are a diverse group with a wide range of personalities, values, and motivations. But when the dominant narrative focuses on the extremes, it's easy to see how stereotypes take hold and shape public perception. Chapter 5. Philanthropy. Genuine generosity or tax write-off. Philanthropy. The act of donating to charitable causes, often seen as a way for the wealthy to give back to society. It's a noble endeavor, one that can bring about significant change and support for those in need. And, let's be honest, score some sweet tax breaks in the process. These tax incentives can be substantial, making it financially advantageous for the wealthy to donate large sums. But here's where things get tricky. Even when wealthy individuals donate millions to worthy causes, their generosity is often met with skepticism and cynicism. People question the true intent behind these donations. Are they truly motivated by altruism, or are they simply trying to improve their public image, assuage their guilt, or, gasp, exploit charitable loopholes for their own financial gain? The line between genuine generosity and strategic philanthropy can be blurry. It's a valid question, and one that highlights the deep-seated mistrust that often surrounds the motivations of the wealthy. This mistrust is not unfounded, given the history of some using philanthropy as a tool for personal gain. When you have more money than you could ever possibly need, it's easy to see how every act of generosity could be perceived as a calculated move, rather than a genuine act of kindness. The immense wealth disparity only fuels this perception. This cynicism, while understandable, can be incredibly frustrating for philanthropists who are genuinely committed to making a positive impact. They often find themselves in a difficult position, trying to prove their sincerity. It's a no-win situation. Donate too little and you're labeled as greedy. Donate too much and you're accused of having ulterior motives. the scrutiny can be relentless, making it challenging for even the most well-intentioned philanthropists to navigate the complex landscape of charitable giving. Outro. So, are all rich people jerks? So, where does this leave us? Is it fair to paint all wealthy people with the same broad brush of judgment? Of course not. But it's crucial to acknowledge that the perception of wealth is often intertwined with issues of arrogance, disconnect, and an unequal playing field. It's not about vilifying individuals, it's about examining the systemic issues that create and perpetuate these negative stereotypes. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the sometimes icky, often fascinating world of wealth perception, be sure to check out my other videos on financial literacy, social responsibility, and the occasional rant about the absurdity of it all. And hey, if you're feeling generous yourself, hit that like button and subscribe. It won't make you a millionaire, but it will make me feel slightly less like a cog in the capitalist machine.